everybody. I am Sarah
Hi.
Ayler from softflexcompany.com. This is my good friend Rebecca Combs from designandadorn.com, and she has a fantastic project planned for us today. But before we get started, as you guys are popping on here, I am going to talk with Rebecca a little bit just to get going. How have things been going, Rebecca?
Things are great. I just came back from Maine. I was at Museum of Beadwork in Portland, Maine, where they are showcasing an exhibition of my work until September.
How special is that?
It was incredible. It's a beautiful museum. It's really very special that a place like this exists because beadwork is an incredible art form, but I think it's not always appreciated as such.
Yeah.
So it's just this wonderful museum to give an opportunity to showcase all the beautiful, incredible things that are happening in the world of beadwork. So I highly recommend everyone put it on your bucket list immediately. Even if you can't make it to see my Kumihimo exhibition, just put it on your list of a place to go. It's in Portland, Maine. They're just open on the weekends, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So plan around that. It's absolutely worth a visit. It's beautiful. There's this incredible wall of beadwork that they did in 2020 as their like COVID lockdown project, because they were supposed to open much sooner and then everything happened. And all of these different people contributed a 6x6 inch beaded square, and there's this whole wall of them, and everyone
like
just did their own thing. Yeah, like a quilt, like a beaded quilt that was made by the community. And I don't know. I'm bad at like estimating distances like this, but it's probably like 12 feet tall by like 20 feet wide. It's incredible. I'm trying to see if I have like a photo of it.
I'm sure it's got to be awe-inspiring to see. I know we used to have a museum of beads in the Phoenix area, and oh, look at that! Here, let me come.
It's just like
screen so we can see it better.
Yeah, that's just like a tiny little like close-up of one section.
Isn't that amazing, you guys? Like all the work. Now, Kristen just did bead embroidery on Monday, so she's really going to appreciate this after working on that bead embroidery just a little bit. I think she's probably already seeing like how much time and energy goes into the planning. And also, especially if you've got a space, like I noticed her piece was quite big, and I was like, ooh, that's going to take some time. But look at that. That is amazing. How cool
so many incredible pieces of art that everyone contributed.
Did you go to the museum that was in Glendale, outside of Phoenix?
No, I didn't go, and it's not there anymore, I don't think.
It isn't. No, it closed, and I don't know where the beads ended up going, where it transitioned to, because I imagine the collection went on somewhere. I'm curious if it got, taken over by this organization or not, but it was years and years ago, so who knows? I see we are currently live to YouTube and to Facebook. We're having a little bit of a difficulty there, but Kristen hopped in the background to fix it for us because that's what Kristen does. She's our little Miss Fix-It.
Yay!
So welcome all of you Facebookers that are showing up just a little tiny bit late. Sorry for our tardiness. We were live. We just needed to reconnect, and Kristen took care of that. You can always rewatch the beginning as well if you want to see more pictures of that beaded quilt on the wall. And it's not a quilt. It looks like a quilt. It's the idea of like individual pieces that come together to make a mass piece. But it looks like they're all like individually framed.
They are. Yeah, they're all individually framed. They built it such so that they could take it apart and loan it to another museum.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah, so like this is their permanent exhibition, right? It's always going to be on display unless it's on display someplace else.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I know I can just imagine how much work went into each of those individual pieces. How many are there, do you think? Like hundreds?
Oh, yes. Like, I don't, like, I took a picture somewhere in here of like,
The
you know, there's
entire
like a little
thing.
text next to it. Yeah. That says, oh, here's like, yeah, here we go. This one has like super
Oh my
zoomed out.
gosh. It's a whole wall.
Yeah. It's a whole wall.
Wow. That's very cool. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Kristen is talking backstage. I can see her mouth moving, but she says it's very cool too. Anyway, that looks pretty amazing. Elizabeth said that would make an amazing beaded quilt. Could you imagine the weight of that if it were an actual quilt?
That would be, I mean, I think it would be beyond a weighted blanket. Like I've been shopping for weighted blankets, and like a big one's 25 pounds. That one's way more than 25 pounds.
Yeah, who needs to buy a weighted blanket? We just need to attach all of our beads to our blanket.
Yeah, perfect. I'm sure that's not hot at all.
I love all those little stars from the ceiling too. Oh, that's so
that was another project where community members, you know, they entered their stars, and then at the end of the year, they're going to have a gala, and they'll be selling the stars as a fundraiser. So the current project that they're accepting submissions for, it's called Wishes and Fishes. So they want people to make beaded fish, and then they're going to attach, you know, write your wish on like a little tiny like scroll or something. It'll be like trailing behind the fish, and they're going to hang up like the stars after they've sold the stars.
Oh,
It's going to be pretty awesome.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for backing me up on my beaded heavy blanket idea. Oh, wow. I love seeing just like the unique things that people make. That's very cool. So it's like teacups with like a spoon on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Like
that's
a sugar topper in the center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the lid from like a sugar bowl, or maybe the lid from a teapot, and then two little cups. So when I saw a picture of this, I thought that those were like full-size teacups. They're probably like espresso size teacups, which does make it like slightly more practical to wear. If you're gonna like wear a tea set, you know, they're probably only like 4 ounces.
For those who missed
the
very beginning, tell us again where you were, where all these pictures came from.
I was at Museum of Beadwork in Portland, Maine. They are featuring a 6-month exhibition of my Kumihimo work. And so I flew out for the opening reception and to teach classes over the weekend. And I can't find a picture of me standing here with my eyes open, so they're there.
You were just exhausted from the whole thing.
Maybe. Or just like blinked every time Richard tried to take a picture.
Oh, what I have found to do, because I have 3 small children, you know, who cannot hold still for very long, is I put my phone on that like setting where it will take like almost a short video, and so you can change which one you want.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Never get a picture of them that looked okay, because they're always like mid movement. There's a nice one.
There we go. That's me with my friend Miranda. She came up from Baltimore to be at the reception, so that was really special.
That's so nice. Well, you should be so proud of that. And it sounds like you also, she was telling me a little bit, you guys, before we went live, you also got to see the eclipse, like on the path of totality, which was super special too.
That was incredible. I have like no good photos of the actual eclipse because I was not concerned with taking photos. I was just like there in the moment. But some kind person did take this really adorable photo of our group during the partial phase.
So
And
cute.
it was just a perfect day. It was like full sun, not a cloud in the sky, like 55 degrees. We were in Eustis, Maine, very close to Canada. And this Trails End Bar and Tavern very kindly welcomed us in. We asked if we could stay all day if we bought lunch, and they're like, yeah, sure. So we bought lunch. We ended up also buying dinner and buying drinks, because you're allowed to have food and drinks outside so long as you stayed inside the rope. So for the Eclipse, we had refreshment. That's a slice of cake on my lap.
Nice.
So yeah, it was great. Right, we had these two little kids, my friend's daughters, and it was just a beautiful day. And then when the totality came, it was just like everyone had described it. Like the temperature dropped very suddenly, and then the lights got dim, but it wasn't like a warm glow like sunset. It didn't have any like red tones. It was just dim and then dark. And
Weird.
all the Christmas lights that were on like sensors, they turned on. The street lamps turned on.
Oh, really?
You could see the stars in the sky, and the eclipse itself. You could see the corona of the sun. It's just like this shimmering white, like tendril from behind the black disc, and it was overwhelming. Like as soon as it happened, like the tears started streaming down my face, and it was just beautiful, and I just felt so peaceful. Like it was wild. It's one of those things, like I don't know that you could describe it. Like I watched 1,000 videos like leading up to it. I'm like, is this gonna be cool? Is this worth like really seriously going out of my way? And it was amazing. Absolutely, it was a spiritual experience. It was truly awe-inspiring in a way that word is rarely used.
I feel like you need to make a beaded embroidery of it, honestly. I'm feeling like you need to make some sort of like art product that encapsulates your feeling for it, you know?
I might have to. So I set up a new Eclipse necklace for today, and the colors I picked are the closest that I think I can get to like what it actually looked like, right? So I mean, I called it the Eclipse because I think that's kind of what it looks like with like the little like phases of the moon down there with the little marbles. And I just picked colors based on like, these are the colors of the beads, and they're pretty and they go together. But today I'm like, can I make one that's actually like what the Eclipse looks like? And yes, so that's what I'm making today.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see how this project is going to come together. Why don't we flip down to your table and take a look at what you got going there? A lot of people didn't get to see the eclipse in that fashion. I'm in California. We saw, I think it was 35%. It was still very cool to see. My kids were still really excited about it. We went into our public library because I was told they had eclipse glasses. And of course we got there right 5 minutes before the eclipse, because that's how I roll these days. Good timing. Yeah, they were all out, but one of my friends was there. She's a temporary librarian. She comes and goes as needed. And she was like, oh, you can have mine. I've seen it. So the girls were like so jazzed that they got to do it.
That's lovely.
I know. It's the nice thing about living in a small town is pretty much everywhere we go, we know someone, and everybody's so super nice here. And that's helpful.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, we saw a lot of that too, like with strangers at this bar. You know, everyone was, we made sure that everyone had glasses, because we had brought a bunch of extras with us, and everyone had glasses. Nice. One person brought a colander, and colanders show the most incredible shadows. So everyone would gather around this one person's colander and go, ooh, and they were very good about making sure that all of the children got to see, that they could, stand up on the table to see it. Yeah, it was beautiful. Like it was like a beautiful human experience.
I love that. We
Coming
need more
together.
of those.
We do. We need more things where people are just like together to just like experience something beautiful and collective.
I saw some pictures, Sandy, where people could see Jupiter and Venus, and I thought that was so interesting and very cool. I'm a space nerd. I love everything about space. So this is my jam to talk about this. I could probably talk about it for hours, but we do need to get to this beautiful necklace that Rebecca is going to show us how to make. I heard at the beginning, Rebecca only has like 2 kits left. Rebecca?
Yeah, I have two kits. They sold out really, really quickly. We are going to make more. I have parts on order, and as soon as they arrive and they're in my hot little hand, I'll open pre-orders. I can't do the pre-orders until I have them because I have to make sure that the marble sets match each other, and I won't know that until they arrive because they don't always. And you guys know me, you know I'm sometimes like detail oriented,
which is what makes you so good at this.
Yeah. So I go through and I make sure that I have sets, and sometimes I'm surprised by the number of sets I get based on how many I order. So I'm sorry for the delay, but that's why I'm going to have to wait. Probably next week is when we'll be opening pre-orders on the next batch of colors. But if you get on our email newsletter list, you will be sure to know when those arrive. Also, you can follow us on Facebook. I'll make an announcement there as well. So there are ways to stay in touch so that you get all the latest design and Adorn news.
If this design isn't your jam, she does a lot of different designs. So, and she's releasing kits pretty regularly. So get on that email list regardless so that you're able to know when she has new things coming out.
This is all I have in terms of a teaser. But look how sparkly these are. These teeny tiny crystals are going to be the next kit. We're going to braid these up in a 3-color fade, and they just really, really, really sparkle. So this is what is on my plate
to-do list
as I'm trying to get like recombobulated returning to Tucson from Maine.
Isn't it funny to think like that's her starting point and then look at the sort of finishing point, like this beautiful, like very unique, very special design. And when you get kits from her, she has excellent instructions. So you can look forward to like really fully understanding what you're doing.
Yeah, this one is 5 pages. 5 pages, 16 photos, a bunch of diagrams. You're good to go. All right, let's talk about this necklace. All right, what's happening here? A little project overview before we get started. So, I do want to show you. This is the whole thing. It doesn't like fit nicely on my screen if I try to do it with my webcam. But that's the whole necklace. And here we'll look at this one that I made yesterday. So it's 2 separate braids. They're attached in the back with a magnet. Haven't done the end cap covers for that one just yet because my sample necklace is at the museum. And we are going to be starting down here and using soft flax to string up this beautiful tassel with these handmade lampwork beads. And after we've made our 2 braids, they're joined by this peyote stitch slider. And what's cool about this is it stays put, but you can move it. So you can adjust how this necklace sits on your body, and also adjust it to different necklines depending on the outfit that you're wearing. That's the thing I love most, is how adjustable it is. So in the instructions, there are 3 different stringing charts. And what you're looking at there is the total length of the necklace end to end. So from a 33-inch, 37-inch, or like a 41-inch. And that's the total length of it. But then where it actually sits around your neck is adjustable because of this slider. So if you're not sure, I would just take a tape measure and sort of drape that around your neck to get an idea of basically where do you want the tassel to sit in front of you. and that just depends on you. But I do recommend try on your tape measure standing as well as sitting. I don't like mine long enough that it's going to bang on the table when I sit down because I have kind of a short torso. So that's my advice in choosing the length. All right, so how do we make this? It's actually really easy, which is kind of like my signature move, is that it looks awesome, but is really super simple and straightforward.
That's a good signature move to have. It's like a magic trick.
Yeah, it is, right? You're like, oh, wow, that's amazing. And then I show you how to do it. You're like, oh, that's it. I can do that. Yes, you can do that. Absolutely.
I love it.
So, so your beads are going to come on this little wire. This is just the packaging wire. And so we're going to just snip that and get rid of that packaging wire. We are going to want these in our like size order, but there aren't that many of them. So I think we can keep that straight. And then we're working on soft flex medium. If you're following along like with the instructions, it says on a 10-inch piece. I said 10 inches because that's like a reasonable length to do this, and it gives you enough room to crimp both ends comfortably. But I wouldn't cut it first if you like to be frugal with your wire and have a bigger leftover piece, which of course you do. That way you can use it to make something else.
Maria, this entire design is a kit. There are 2 left, and then she hopes to make some more that you can order in the future. And the lampwork beads will come in the kit.
Yes, absolutely. The kit has everything that you need. So I'm stringing up a crimp bead and then a crystal, and then I'm just going to be alternating crystals and lampwork beads. And something to be aware of when you're stringing this up, the crystal is going to poke into the hole of the lampwork bead. This is expected and normal. It serves to stabilize the lampwork bead. That's why we're using a bicone instead of a round bead. See how they just sort of like nest together there? Now, how much they nest together depends on your lampwork beads, because these are made by actual humans with a torch. So sometimes the holes vary, and sometimes they'll poke in a little bit, and sometimes they'll poke in a lot. So that will make a very insignificant change in the overall length of your necklace. But again, since it's adjustable at the slider, you don't really have to lose any sleep about that. I love it when there are things that we can just be like, don't worry about it, it's fine. So I'm going to put a crimp at the other end of this. I'm going to do the magical crimpers, which I've become obsessed with. I just like how they finish, right? So it makes a really nice, clean, okay, a nice little, like, looks like a bead at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, wrong way. There we go. Okay, so I've got my beads on here, and now I'm going to make a little U-turn and go back into that crimp bead, back into the crystal, and I will do my best to stay in frame. But if I wander, just give me a shout.
Will do.
I like to use a toothpick to get my loops all the same size. If you're gonna just like eyeball it, we're shooting for like 3 to 4 millimeters, but the toothpick trick is my new secret weapon, because your loops are definitely gonna be the same size every time with us. So I just close that up around my toothpick, and then I can come in here with my magical crimper. And see, everything is still just like on my wire. If you were working from the kit, it wouldn't be on a spool, but you just have like your long piece of wire hanging out there. If you were afraid you were going to lose your beads, you could, just pop a bead stopper on there so they don't go anywhere. And I'm going to give this a crimp. So you just get your crimp bead into that little dimple in the plier. Make sure it's all the way in there and give that a nice squeeze. And turn it and do it again. And then we're just going to sort of like walk around and give it a couple extra little squeezies. And we can take our toothpick out of there. I will say, I think there's a bit of a learning curve on the magical crimper. When I was first starting, they weren't always beautiful. And one cool thing about this project is one of your crimp beads will be hidden under the cone. So do them both, and then you can decide which one you'd prefer to hide. So after you've done the one, you just need to decide how much room you need in order to crimp again. Usually like in the 2 to 3 inch range is what I think is good for me. By doing this way, I used a little bit less than 10 inches, so my scrap wire is longer. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. I've made a U-turn. I'm going back into my crimp, into my lampwork bead. Get my toothpick in here so I don't make my loop too small. And I'm just checking to make sure that I don't have any like excess play in the wire, but also that I haven't like, oops, oh, I just lost my toothpick. See how tiny my loop got? If your loop is too small, you will have trouble getting your cords through it later. That's the other reason why I like to do the toothpick. That way I know for sure that my loop is just the right size. Once you've crimped it once, if it's easier for you to see, you can take the toothpick out. And sure enough, what always happens to me is I have one that's reasonably beautiful and the other end is less so. So that's the end I'm going to hide. See if I can get that a little bit closer. We'll fix that later. All right, so this is the end that I'm going to tie my cords onto. So I do have like a magic of television where one is already set up, but this is a step that I want you guys to see. So I'm going to demo this. So we're going to be cutting 4 3-yard pieces. Oftentimes we pre-cut the cords for the kit, but when they're 3 yards or longer, we usually just give you the whole spool, because when they're that long, they are more likely to tangle if we put them on the little cardboard bobbin, and I don't want them to tangle up on you. So just cut them yourself. You're gonna measure the and just make the others match. And this is my favorite trick for cutting from a spool. This is the base of my bead spinner. So if you have a bead spinner, just take the bowl off and you can put your spool of cord on it, and it keeps that spool from running away when you're pulling off of it. All right. So I'm going to shimmy these through the loop, working at the end where I want to hide my crimp because it's the less perfect one. Just gonna get that through and gonna put a bead stopper there. I don't always do bead stoppers on these when I'm setting these up by myself, but it's super awkward doing this here with all these wires from my computer and the earphones, and I don't want to drop anything. So what I'm going to do is I want to find the center of these cords. Here's the center. And I'm just going to pop a bead stopper on here to hold my place in case I drop these on the floor. All right, so I've got 4 of them in already. Now I'm going to get the other 4 in. Okay, time for the cheat code. Big eye needle to the rescue.
I love a good cheat.
That's right. Sometimes I just need a little help.
You need it. Yep. Lorena saying, great class as usual.
Yay! All right, I'm gonna see if I could do 2 at a time. Well, we'll see. I know that it won't let you do more than 2 at once with the needle because it just gets too overwhelmed with where the tails fold over. But let's see. Can we do it? Can we do it? All right, we're pulling out all the tricks today. Here's my new needle puller. Come on, yeah! Woohoo! I love these so much. This is like the same material as a jar opener. I just got a pack of these and I love them. I'm gonna bring them in to sell on the website because I love them. They're amazing. Okay, so let me just double check. I have all 8 of those through. And let's try to pull these through in a neat and tidy fashion. So basically, we're going to be doing a lark's head knot. So I got to get down to where the loop is. So here's the loop. It's not really a loop. It's just like folded over. Or take that bead stopper off. There's my place for me. There we go. So lark's head knot means these tails come through. So I'm just going to reach through.
That is brilliant, you guys. That is so brilliant. What a nice way to connect, like, securely.
And this is kind of like a blobby mess, and that's fine. We got the cone. We got the cone. I am going to like cinch this up. So I'm going to like hold the knot and then just pull each cord one at a time. And that will tighten it up and make sure there's no loose
you're using.
What type of knot? Lark's head.
No, the type of cording.
Oh, the cord. This is Superlon size 18. It's also known as Tex 210.
Nice.
Yeah, it's my go-to. It's the perfect size if you're using size 8 seed beads. Here's my cone. If you got the kit, we already measured all the cones to make sure that the opening is 1.8 millimeters. If you're working from your stash, measure your cone. If it's smaller than 1.8 millimeters, your cords will not fit, but do not despair. These are pewter. These are from TierraCast. But most cones that you find are probably going to be pewter, and you can give them a little stretch. So I'm just pushing the cone down on one tine of a round nose plier, and that will open it up. I didn't even measure it, but that's how you make them slightly bigger if you need to make them slightly bigger. All right, now we take these 8 cords and they go through the cone. And just like going through that loop, you probably can't do it all in one go. I know I can't, so I'm not even going to try. I'm going to use my big eye needle again. And I'm going to do them 2 cords at a time. Make sure you're putting these on so that the wide end of the cone is going to go down and cover your crimp and your knot. You'll know right away if you have them going the wrong way. You'll have to pull it off and do it again. So that's 2, 4. There we go, 6. Oh, what did I do?
Uh-oh.
I pierced my thread, but it's fine. It pulled off.
Oh, well.
It's fine. It's a-okay. And yeah, the last ones are tight. They'll be less tight if you do them one piece at a time instead of 2 pieces at a time.
What is that Christmas thing you just used?
It's a needle puller. We're going to start selling them. It's like yes. So like yes and no. Like this material is the same thing they make jar openers out of. Like every time Richard goes to a conference, they come home with like commemorative jar openers with some company's name on them. I don't know why they think that's such a good piece of swag at like the Turban conference, but they're here. Do you need to open jars? And yes, we do. So I'm happy to have them. And for a long time, I've just used like a rubber band, but this is better than a rubber band.
I like that.
Like the right size.
What a nice little, just handy thing. You know, like the bead stoppers. It's just like a little thing that makes your life so much easier.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so ta-da. So now it's like wearing a little hat. And then you just pull this up through your Kumihimo disc. So here it is below. And then I have my 8 cords have come up, and I'm going to put 1 on either side of every dot. This is our standard starting position. If you are super duper brand new to Kumihimo, I also have a YouTube video, like the Kumihimo Quick Start Guide, that goes over how to braid, as well as we have a free PDF on our website, Beaded Kumihimo Starter Guide. So you guys can check that out if you're a super duper beginner. But you just want to pull them through. And what we're looking for is basically for them just to be neat and tidy. When you're starting out, it doesn't matter which cord goes where. They're all the same color. After we string the beads, then they need to like stay in their assigned positions. The beads is one of the more time-consuming parts, so I pre-did that. So basically, you're going to have 3 different stringing charts. So you want to first decide the total length of your project, and then the stringing chart will tell you how many beads to string for your size of necklace. And you need to pay attention to the different warps because each warp has a different stringing pattern. That's how the colors change as you move from the beginning of the necklace to the end of the necklace. Now, very important, before I start braiding, I'm going to confirm that I have put all of my warps in the correct position. So, and there's a diagram in your instructions that tells you what goes where. So there's number 1, there's just partner number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's important to check this before you start because if you accidentally have them in the wrong position, then the pattern won't work up the way you expected. And right now, it would be super easy to just like switch them into the correct spot. Yesterday, when I was making my other one, I had my 4 and my 7 accidentally switched, and I did not realize that until halfway through my necklace. And I really wish that I had double checked my work at the beginning. So,
what is a warp? Someone wants to know.
One of these cords. This is a warp. There are 8 warps in this braid. So in In Kumihimo, your cord or a group of cords that share one position, we refer to those as a warp or an element. I use the word warp. When Kumihimo made its way to this country from Japan, it first took off in the weaving community. So methodology is from weaving, even though it is braiding and not weaving. So in this braid, this is Congo Gumi. That's the name of the braid structure. There are just two moves. It's top right down and bottom left up. So the top of the disc is the side that's farthest from your body, and the bottom of the disc is the side that's closest to your body. Those are relative terms because we will be turning the disc around and around as we braid. And then you just also have to keep track of left and right. So to get started, I'm going to do 8 moves without any beads. That's going to set up our point of braiding and make it so that we can lock our beads in place. So top right down, that's move number 1. Bottom left up, that's move number 2. Turn the disc. Top right down, bottom left up. That was 3 and 4. Top right down, bottom left up, 5, 6. Top right down, bottom left up, 7, 8.
Easy.
Now I can stop counting. It's super easy, super easy. And when you do it with beads, it's the same moves. We're just going to let one bead come down and enter the braid, and it's going to go underneath the first cord that it comes to. So I lift my warp up, let one bead slide, give it a little nudge so it goes underneath, and then bring my cord across. You see that? It's just caught, right? I didn't like shove it down from above. It was coming this way and just boop, it just caught, like it was walking along and tripped on a crack in the sidewalk. All right, just right like that. And then turn the disc. Do it again.
Are you turning counterclockwise or clockwise when you turn the disc?
I am turning counterclockwise. I'm turning to the left. You can turn to the left or you can turn to the right. On this braid,
way, right?
On this braid, it doesn't matter which way you turn. It also doesn't matter if you sometimes turn left and sometimes turn right. However, I would recommend to you, as you are beginning your Kumihimo journey, to pick a direction and stick with it. If you don't feel strongly about it, go to the left, just because that's the way I turn. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The reason I want you to be aware of which direction you're turning is because later, when you're doing more complicated projects, sometimes you will be asked to do things in a different direction. So if you are aware of the direction you normally go, it will be easier for you to pick up more complicated braids later.
What size seed beads are in this kit?
Almost all of the seed beads are size 8, except for at the very, 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 very end. There are some size 11s hidden under the end cap so that we can use a 6mm end cap.
And if you guys missed
all
it,
of them are size 8.
If you missed it at the beginning, she's doing 2 individual cords that will then connect in the back with a clasp and in the front with a beaded connection that slides up and down. Yeah. So right now she's working from those lampwork beads up. So she's got the lampwork beads and the cone below the Kumihimo disc. And now she's bringing the Kumihimo disc up all the way to the clasp. And then she'll do a second one just like it. And then do that beautiful seed bead weave connector in the front that will take those 2 parts and put them together.
Yes, and the second braid is just like the first in technique, but it's actually a different length. So when you're looking at the stringing chart, it'll say short side and then long side. And that's so that when your necklace is finished, your tassels hang down unevenly. I just think it's more beautiful that way. So you have a short side and a long side, but the technique is absolutely the same. Oh, and notice this. So when I went to set this down, I had 3 here at the bottom. That's your stopping point. This is really important, especially when you're learning, to try your very best to always stop at a stopping point. That way, when you walk away and you come back, you can pick it up, make sure those 3 are facing the bottom of the disc, and then you know, okay, I know right where I am. I just did top right down. Next is bottom left up.
Okay, Kelly is asking, how long are your cords for each side? For each cord, about how long of a cord did you start with, I guess, would be a way to.
So we cut 4 pieces that were 3 yards each, but then we started from the middle of the cords, so they're 1.5 yards.
And Kara's asking that you actually create your own patterns.
I absolutely create my own patterns. Yes, I do. Yes, so that's my main job, in fact, writing Kumihimo patterns.
Yeah, and then selling the kits. So so if you love this kit, there were only 2 left when we started the show. I have this strange feeling they've already sold, possibly. Maybe not. Maybe you can go look and see if one is still there. If not, make sure you get on Rebecca's email list, because she's going to restock this kit. So get on the email list, make sure you're ready when she has it available. And then also she comes out with kits regularly that have fantastic instructions for Kumihimo. And it'll be a lot of fun to get one of these kits and get playing with the Kumihimo disc. Does it matter if you're left or right-handed?
No, because you're using both hands.
Mm-hmm. And you can go either direction, whatever feels most comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can rotate either way. So I'm just going to set this down on a little jar so I can zoom in really close and show you the center of the braid. As we talked about the stopping point where you have 3 down, but I understand that life happens and sometimes you're going to stop and you won't have 3 down and you go, uh-oh, what's my next move? It's really pretty simple to tell. You're just going to look at the point of braiding. So that's where all 8 cords come together. And you're looking for the 2 cords that are on top. And by that, I mean they are like physically on top of the other. So you can like feel it with your fingernail. These 2 are higher than the others. They're on top. So they're on top because you just placed them there. So since these are on top, I know that this axis is complete and can't move again. So I just need to rotate and then top right down, next move. And remember, it doesn't matter which direction you rotate. So
how long does it take
on track
one of the cords?
That is a very personal question. I can, so
how much time do you have?
I can make one of these in like start to finish, including stringing the beads, in less than 3 hours. One side of the necklace, not like, which is, so since it's a lariat, it's like a double length necklace. So it takes me about 6 hours to do the stringing and the braiding for one of these. Once you do the stringing, this is really portable and pretty repetitive. So you can definitely like listen to some music or a podcast or a TV show that doesn't require your full attention. You do want to check your work occasionally.
Catherine, you can use the disc either way. I imagine it's because she's not advertising whoever made this particular disc. But
that's it. Yeah.
You can use it either way. It works both ways. Just so I can get the question cleared up. And then how many beads per strand? I imagine that will be in the instructions. And then you decide based on how long you want yours to be. So
correct. The instructions tell you how many beads and exactly how many of each color, because remember, it's a color changing design. So you start with color A and then you transition to B. But each set of partners, so like 1 and 2, they have one particular set of beads, and then the next set of partners, 3 and 4, they have a different count for their colors, because that's how the colors change from end to end. So you have to just refer to your instructions for that.
Oh, and you can get the pattern only PDF, it looks like, as well, which
Yes.
will have all of the parts that you need to make this pattern.
Yes, if you get the pattern only PDF, it's going to have the detailed supply list and then the same, step-by-step instructions that come with the kit. Awesome. If you prefer to put together your own supplies.
Very cool. It's looking so beautiful.
Thanks. I really like this one. So it's going to be this white, and then it's going to transition into this like shimmery silver. I was trying to capture like the colors of totality. It wasn't like dark like the middle of the night. It was just like a weird dim twilight.
So cool.
Yeah.
I love it. And then if you wanted to, you could even hang something off the very bottom if you wanted to add like a charm, like a sun or a moon or whatever it is, there's that little loop of soft flax at the bottom that you could, I imagine.
Yeah, you definitely could. And like I auditioned that, like I tried it, and I decided that I really like the little loop, that I thought it was just like really clean and an elegant finish. And that's one of the advantages of soft flex, is that it's just a quality, beautiful product that can be visible in your designs.
Yeah,
it's totally similar to like if you're doing, often wire wrap designs end with a small coil or a spiral or something. It's the same thing here, just a little tiny loop. And actually, when you wear the piece, it disappears, right? Like if a person is like standing back at like a normal viewing distance, it looks like it ends basically at that bicone, because the other things are too tiny.
Totally.
To really see.
Lorena says she loves the way you're blending the colors. And Maria says that Kumihimo is very meditative and it's a lot of fun to do. I totally agree. I haven't picked up my Kumihimo board in a long time. But I often Kumihimo soft flex itself as the cord, and have made lots of different designs over the years, because soft flex is so flexible and can be knotted and comes in so many colors. It can be kind of fun to play around with that as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I have a braid I did in soft flex that I really, really love. It's in my second book. It's 16 warps, and I used half of the soft flex extreme silver and half turquoise. And it's a Hirokara Gumi braid structure, so it's a 16 warp trapezoidal braid.
Ooh,
love that piece.
Yeah, Rebecca has a lot of fantastic books. I saw someone mention earlier they were getting out some books, and hers was on the top of their stack. She's got a lot of great books that you can check out. Do you have them on your website, or do you ask people?
They are sadly out of print.
Yeah, my
so Kalmbach, well, Kalmbach closed their jewelry department
right
in 2020. So all of my books like overnight went out of print, which is a real bummer.
Yeah, totally.
But
you have the right to reprint them, though, don't you?
Yes, I do, and I have the print files, and I'm into either printing them, myself in like a self-published route, or finding a new publisher. If anyone has leads on a craft and jewelry book publisher who is like actually printing books these days, reach out to me with that info.
Yeah,
because I've been looking, and a lot of people are just doing ebooks.
Well, we self-published, Kristen and I self-published our my second book.
Did you? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was great. And it's forever available, and it worked out really well. We really enjoyed it. So
I might have to talk to you guys about that experience sometime.
Neelay Patel did that as well. He's the one who inspired us to self-publish. And it's even easier if it's a book that's already been edited.
Mm-hmm. True. I just have to figure out how to like put the files like back into like ready to go. So like they sent me the print files, but like every page is its own file.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do with them.
Kristen, since she's done it before.
Yeah.
She might be willing to help you. Here I am offering her.
Thanks for volunteering, Kristen. You're the best.
You just work like 24 hours a day, right, Chris?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
who needs sleep?
Enough.
Who needs sleep? Yeah.
This is a really good demonstration. I'm just gonna go peek and make sure my Kristen can hear me. I'm just gonna go peek and make sure my husband made it in the door. Okay, he just came back from
fantastic
treatment, but just keep going, and I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll be here. We'll talk amongst ourselves. Hey, everybody. So yeah, I'm just braiding along here, and what I want you to do every now and again, check your work. So you're going to lift up your braid and take a look, and what you're looking for is holes. There shouldn't be any spots where you see the cord instead of a bead. It's really obvious. You'll know right away. But let's say you have this. Oh, I do have an oopsie. Here, I'm gonna put one on. So I'm I'm braiding along. I'm not paying super attention right now. Let's just do. And now all of a sudden I look, what is this? What is this? Let me zoom in so you guys can see. Boop. All right, do you guys see this one here? So what we're looking at is the side of the bead. If you look at the silver bead, you can really see how the whole of the bead is pointing up towards the sky. That's what they should all look like. But this one, we definitely can see the side of it. And also it's more in the middle of the braid rather than out here in this little like ring of beads that we had been forming. So this is our oopsie bead, and we have to go back. So to do this, we have to unbraid. Like I can't like pick at this thing and fix it from here. I have to go back to its level. So I'm just gonna look at the cord that I just moved, and I'm gonna go back, fish its bead out, and then lock it in place. So I'm gonna go back again because I'm still not back to that bead. So just take cord back, fish out the bead. It's really important to, sorry, I always zoom the wrong direction. It's really important to fish the bead out as you go. People always ask me, can't I just like let the beads puddle up in the middle? And yeah, you totally could. And it seems like that might be faster. But then it's really difficult to see what's actually happening. And you want to, during this unbraiding phase, be like hyper focused. So here's the next one to unbraid. I'm gonna pop that out. And then here we go. This is our bead. It didn't get locked in place. So I'm just going to go back, get that bead in there. And now we're good to go. Oh, I do see that we're kind of like running up on the time. So I'm going to set this down and I'm going to talk about finishing. When you get to the end of your braid, there won't be any beads left. Ideally, they will all end at the same time because we counted them out. And you're going to braid about a 1/2 inch with no beads. this little nubbin is going to give us room to bind off. So after you have braided without beads, then you can take everything off of the disc, and we're going to bind the braid. It doesn't matter what color beading you use to do the binding, because it's going to get covered up by the end cap. I'm using green just because that's what I had here on my tray. So I'm going to fold this unevenly, so there's a long side and a short side, and I'm going to take this loop and I'm going to set it on the beads right at the end of my braid. So this is underneath my thumb, and I'm going to take the long side of this thread and I'm going to wrap around this little nubbin, and I'm not catching any of the beads. I'm really close to the beads, but I'm not catching any of them. And I'm just going to go around, you know, like 3 to 5 times. It's about like 1/8 of an inch. And now I need to take this tail, this working thread, excuse me, the working thread needs to go through the loop that's under my thumb. For me, I have to reposition my hand in order to do that. So I'm going to pinch those wraps. If you let go of those wraps for even a second, they will unwrap and you'll have to start over. So I'm pinching them, and I'm going to take my working thread through that loop, and I'm going to grab the tail. The tail's just been hanging out this whole time, and I pull the tail. Do you see how the loop is closing? I'm keeping an eye on it, making sure the loop doesn't catch any beads as it closes. Just pull, 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 pull. And then I can grab the other end and tug these in opposite directions. And that is going to make a nice little binding right here. And then extra like square knot on top of this thing. Square knot or a granny knot. And then I can trim these really, really closely. So that's how you do the binding. And then your end cap is actually going to glue right over the beads. You're going to use E6000 glue. And the thing you need to know about it is just it needs to dry for 24 hours before you mess with it. So after you glue your end caps on, just set it someplace where nobody's. I actually like to take painter's tape, and I'll tape it down to like a table or a tray, and then I'll write the time and date that it's ready. That way nobody else comes along and messes with it. And also so I don't mess with it prematurely. And then we don't have time to do the peyote stitch, but I actually have a really, really good peyote stitch demo video on our YouTube channel that you guys can check out. Basically, the trick with peyote stitch is just getting it started, and you just want to like pinch everything nice and tight between your fingers. And instructions are going to tell you exactly how many beads to pick up for your starting row, for your slider, and then also for the end cap cover, because they're not the same size. So do pay attention to how many beads you're supposed to pick up. So go back to braiding over here.
This
there we go.
Such a fun project. I love it so much. So I hope you guys will consider going and getting on that email list so that when Rebecca has it available, you can purchase the whole kit. But you can also just go pick up the PDF and buy all the products on your own. You know, that's an option as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have all sorts of kits on our website. In addition to the Eclipse, we have some other projects that we've demoed here for Soft Flex. We have the Basilica necklace and the Cathedral Trilogy bracelet, which was from the Appreciation Week in 2023. So we have lots of different kits. to choose from. And if you're like, hey, I'm super brand new and I hear you saying that this could be my first project, but I really want something a little bit less involved, we also have some super beginner like beaded rope kits that are a great place to start. Beaded ropes and like cute as a button. Those are super fun. Yeah. Can I show you guys some of my upcoming classes?
Yes. Please do, and then we'll do the giveaway.
Yay! So I am going to be teaching at the Kumihimo Society gathering in Minneapolis in September, and I'm teaching 3 classes there. So if you're like, yeah, Kumihimo, sign me up, definitely come to the AKS gathering. It's 4 days of all Kumihimo all the time. All of the best Kumihimo instructors are going to be there. It's going to be incredible. I am teaching 3 classes. This is the Simply Marvelous. And in this project, you're going to learn start and stop your braid and actually take it off of the disc to embed your focal beads. So these guys are like locked on here. And then it also has a cool color change to it.
Where is this?
And then
located?
It's going to be in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Very cool. That's a very accessible place for both East and West. Also, Ginny, yes, she does have a YouTube channel. Is it just a Design and Adorn on YouTube, Rebecca?
Yeah, sure is. Yep, youtube.com/design and adorn. Spelled out, AND.
Got it.
Yeah. And this is delightful. Oh, again, it's Kumihimo over here because that's my jam. But then you're going to learn how to make these focal beads and how to get these guys in your braid.
Beautiful.
And then my most advanced project is the Rendezvous bracelet, where you're going to wire wrap all of these guys. And this has a fairly intricate counted pattern that gets all of these flowers to nest on here.
Whoa.
And then look, the inside of the bracelet is flat, right? So it's not like this huge thing. It's flat on the inside.
Whoa.
And then
so challenging.
This is the most advanced project. You do need to be very good at braiding, at both braiding and unbraiding for this one, because like you saw me braiding with the seed beads and they just like went in every time the way they're supposed to. These flowers are gonna fight you. I'm not gonna lie. They do require constant attention,
patience,
and then yeah, and then it gets finished off with peyote stitch end cap covers too. But
oh my gosh,
my real sample is in the museum, and I haven't finished the end cap cover sample. It's on the to-do list.
So pretty. I love all of those projects. Check that out. It's in Minneapolis, Minnesota. When is it again?
It's in September. I can't remember the exact date.
Awesome.
But it's a weekend in September, which is just a beautiful time of year to be there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, and
what's this beauty? What's this beauty that's on the table now?
Oh, this is Countess in Bloom. We just put these kits up like the first week of April. So this was like our newest kit. And this is a really excellent beginner project. It's only counted on this one warp. So it's a lot less time consuming to string. All the others are just all beads. That's awesome. And we have these in lots of different colors, and based on the stringing chart, that's how you get these really beautiful check petal beads to line up all on one edge. And they really shimmer. I have like a super like color change quality to them. Yeah.
Somebody asked, is my husband okay? He's absolutely okay. He goes to an infusion treatment every 2 weeks, and transport picks him up and drops him off. My mother lives with us, so she was out there to meet him. I just like physically wanted to make sure he was okay and, give him a hug and, all the good stuff. So he's doing great. He's doing fine. Thank you for asking. Let's do this giveaway. I am going to share my screen. Here it comes. Here we go. We've got 93 entries right now, and you must be present to win. So when I click the draw button, you will let us know that you're here to claim your prize. I am giving away a beautiful strand of Millefiori beads. They are beautiful, like mint green with blues and creams. They're really, really lovely. I know you guys are going to love them. So you're going to let them know. You're going to email info@softflexcompany.com after you let us know you're here, and to claim your prize. Give them your shipping address. Let them know that you won a strand of beads. Thomas will follow up and let them know which strand of beads you won, so that there's no confusion, because Thomas is good that way. We're up to 96 entries. Last chance, #beads in the comments to enter to win. Here I go. One.
Drum roll. Who will it be?
Linda Hale on YouTube. Please in the comments so that we know that you are here. I love seeing all of your guys' comments about how excited you are for Kumihimo. Kumihimo is a ton of fun. It's something that you can do with SoftFlex as well. And like Rebecca was showing you, you can also attach SoftFlex to it. It's a great skill. It's very easy once you get going. It's like one of those things you can do on a road trip or in front of your television while you're watching Dune 2, which just came out for streaming. Whatever it is that you've got going on, your favorite cooking show, you can just click away at it and you can set it down and pick it up, and it's really easy to just get going again. And I think you guys will really love it for sure. Okay, did we find Linda Hale? I don't see her yet. Come on, Linda. Let us know you're here. You've got another minute or two before I will draw again. We like to make sure you're here at the end and get all the instructions. Please click like on this video. Give it a heart or a thumbs up if you enjoyed having Rebecca as a guest. We love having Rebecca anytime we can. Let her know that you loved this project by clicking that like or heart button, so that we can get her back here again in the future. I don't see her.
Uh-oh.
Linda, did you leave? Last chance, last chance. I'm hoping the comments are, sometimes things lag a little bit, so it's
right.
what someone's internet connection is like or what's going on.
Right.
Oh, there she is. No.
Yeah. Nope. Different Linda.
Linda, man. I should note the Great Bead Extravaganza is this weekend. Friday night is the preview night, and we have special guest Lisa Niven Kelly from Beaducation. We have Beads of Courage joining us. We'll have a trend report, and then we will have some of your favorite presenters back again to offer you lots of lovely inspiration. It will be going on all weekend long, so don't miss a minute, and make sure you're there Friday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, to see a snippet of what everybody's doing over the weekend. Okay, I think I'm going to give up. You think I should give up, Thomas, and go to the next person? This is where it pays to stick around.
That's right.
Sometimes I
don't leave early.
Leave early because they might not be here. Here we go again. And hopefully this next person is still here to claim their prize. Mel Linane on YouTube. Let us know that you're here, and we will, stick around. There's still 113 people here, just in case. Waiting.
Yeah. Don't leave yet.
Okay, Mel, are you here? We also have a fantastic sale that started on our website today.
I see her.
It is terrific.
Yay!
Make sure you check out the Softflex Company website. You can actually get $25 off, I think, if I read it correctly. $25 off your order of over $99. So
wow.
Excellent
It's a
deal.
huge savings.
That's a huge deal. It's special for TGBE week. So we don't do it very often, but every once in a while we pull out the big guns, and we're pulling out the big guns this week. So if you want to grab that TGBE kit, you can still do it. There are some on the website, and you will get a discount if your order goes up, 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 the bigger your discount. Let me stop sharing now. Make sure you email info@softflexcompany.com to claim your prize. And then just before we go too quickly, here is that deal. And you can catch me and Kristen on Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. For Spring Fling, we're so excited. The dynamic duo will be back and giggling in action. And also, here is the full schedule to see everybody. You can find this full schedule on the Great Bead Extravaganza page and actually print it out and map out your whole day for Saturday and Sunday. And that's it for that. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, Rebecca.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love being here. These parties are so much fun.
They really are. You bring such beautiful designs. I think you blow everybody away every time you're here. And I hope that they all go join your email list. Click that the thumbs up sign and the heart signal to let Rebecca know that you enjoyed this video. And then go join her email list and go ahead and subscribe to her YouTube channel to keep up with what she is doing, because she has new kits coming out all the time with fantastic instructions. I know, it's that time again.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I'm looking at all these comments flowing by. We really appreciate every time you stop by, Rebecca, so we hope to see you again soon.
My pleasure.
And you can learn more about Rebecca by going to her website, which is
designandadorn.com. And it's right there under my name.
Everything about Softflex on our website, which is softflexcompany.com as well. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.